Starting and everything. All right, what's up, everybody? It's your good old boy JR coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. As always, I got my buddy here, Brandon, who's been with me from Houston, Texas. We're almost done with the season, Brandon. It's almost over. I promise, it's almost over.
And then we go back to Tuesdays, talk about some sports.
Perfect. Now, today we actually have a special episode. We're actually going to be doing both teams because me and Brandon kind of looked at each other and said, well, the Chiefs are going to be picking back to back. So why not just do it tonight? Let's just do it tonight. So that's what we decided on. And that's what we're going to go with. So today we're going to talk about the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Chiefs are going to pick back to back, but we are going to talk about the 49ers today. So Brandon, you ready?
Let's do it.
All righty. So the 49ers, after a 10-7 season, posting the 13th best offense and the 9th best defense in the NFL, they were one game away from reaching the Super Bowl. One game.
I mean, a pick away. Let's be real for a second. A pick away.
It was a pick away. I mean, it's not a guarantee that they would have won had they done the interception, but it would have been their chances would have been better. I will say that. It would have been better. But it is what it is. And, they had an amazing season with all the turmoil, with all the questions of, is Kyle Shanahan on the hot seat? Is John Lynch really that good of a general manager? We don't know. We do not know. But now, after everything that happened, I can honestly say, I do not think that these guys have anything to worry about. I think these guys...
Well. I would have been with you on that boat if today didn't happen. So
I'm going to be the first one to say this. Deebo Samuel is not going anywhere.
Are they going to kidnap him?
The 49ers are not going to let Deebo Samuel walk away. We already got our first comment. Mike, if you missed yesterday's episode, he was on yesterday.
Yes, he was.
About his Packers. And the first comment we have, Niners, thumbs down. Sorry, Mike. It's just the way of the world, man. It is what it is, man. Got to let it go. It happens. I'm going to be honest with you. With everything going on today and everything, he is not leaving anywhere. Deebo Samuel is not going to go anywhere.
We literally had this conversation yesterday about those three receivers that was like, we want a contract. And now one has already admitted, give me my... And I don't know if he even wants a deal. Because clearly it's like he doesn't want to be there. So how can you keep somebody that's clearly like, I don't care if you're going to pay me. I just don't want to be here.
But is that him saying that? Or is that his brother? And is that people just putting words in the mouths of the media?
I mean, when you request a trade, it's kind of like you kind of feel that way too. Maybe they have persuade your thought process, but maybe you are already feeling that way.
I just think what it is. Here's my thing. I think with the whole contract situation and everything that's happening, I truly believe. Exactly. He doesn't want to be the wide receiver running back hybrid role. Right? Because that role was already created. And it didn't work out too well. Remember Le'Veon Bell? He wanted to be top paid. He wanted to be paid as a top running back, which at that time, totally believable. I totally understand you, my man. But when he threw it out there that I want to be paid as a number 2 wide receiver, now I can see where he's coming from too, because he was second in receptions on the team in that year in that particular time. I get it. I totally get it. I understand why you feel this way. But it's hard to place, because what's the value? What's the market for a hybrid role?
And it's getting hard to now have that conversation.
Because here's the thing. Everybody wants the gadget player.
Yeah.
But when it's time to pay the gadget player, well, I don't know what to pay you because there's not another person out there like you that can do it. Well, somebody's got to be the rule.
And I think this is where it gets kind of. I think I can fix it. I think whatever position you drafted them at or signed them to, that's what you need to pay him as. So if Debo was drafted as a receiver, you need to pay him as a receiver. Now, he can still do the hybrid stuff, but he's a receiver because you drafted him as a receiver.
Right. But what if now here's the thing. People want to throw it out there. Well, the 49ers offered him a contract. What if they're offering him running back money? Because he's the hybrid role.
Yeah.
Because we know wide receivers get paid more than running backs. Let's just be real here.
Whatever do you mean?
What if they're like, okay, you want to be the hybrid role? Well, here's running back money. Here's top running back money. Here's your deal. But can we sit here and say that does Deebo Samuel, is he in the conversation of a top 10 wide receiver?
Yeah.
Is he in there? Maybe. We would have to look deeper into it. But I think this is why it gets so interesting. Like, you want the gadget players, and then when the gadget players excel, then it's hard to pay because you don't know what the value is. There's no market for a hybrid role.
Man, this has happened to my team twice that I've been alive. This happened to my team twice. Earlier, Jimmy Graham, he wanted to be paid like a receiver and not a tight end because he felt like he was a receiver. Which
at the time I would have believed him.
I would have too, but it's like you want to be paid as a receiver, but you're a tight end. That's what we kind of got you as. Yes, you are. And then he got traded and went to Seattle, and thank you because we got Max Unger for like a good 5 years. So appreciate you. That was an amazing trade. Now looking back at it, hindsight, I was so mad. Now I'm looking back at it, I was like, that was such a great damn trade. Oh my God. And just recently, Taysom Hill. We don't know what the hell he is.
He ain't a quarterback.
One thing I do know, I was just about to say that. We know he ain't a damn quarterback. We can mark that off. We can check that completely the hell off the box. Like, we can X that
I
off.
think the shame part in all this, I think this is the shaming part. I think this is the damning part in all of this. The people out there are making it look like the 49ers are doing everything to keep him. Are you really, though? Are you really doing everything you are to keep him?
And my thing is this. I think because Deebo had to play running back last year, we forget they running backs got injured like really early in the season. So he had no choice. It wasn't
until Elijah Mitchell really took it over. And that's when everything is like, okay, Deebo, you can get back to the line of scrimmage now. We kind of don't need you here.
Yeah, it is, and that's the thing. Like, Elijah Mitchell got early in the season. So that's why Deebo was a running back. But it's not like he was trying to be the damn running back.
No.
He had no choice.
My thing for all this, and this is just me, it's one thing when Devontae Adams tells Green Bay no. At least I could sit here and say, well, Green Bay tried everything. They threw money at him. They threw guarantees at him. He just said no.
Yeah.
Are we going to sit up here and say that did the 49ers do everything to keep Deebo Samuel? Are they doing everything to keep him?
And that's where it gets to me, in a sense. I don't think it's the money. I think it's the situation. I think he's like, look, man, I'm going to probably be more of this offense than anybody because Jimmy Garoppolo, we really don't know what he is. He has his good days and he has his really bad days. We don't know. So you're going to be running the ball a lot, which means you're going to be running Elijah Mitchell or me. And when you do throw the ball, 9 out of 10, I'm the one that's going to be catching it. So it's a lot of things. So it might be that. It might be the scheme.
We can't forget that George Kittle is still on the team, too. Like, we can't forget that.
But George Kittle's been getting injured a lot lately.
Yeah, I think that's the
so. So it's kind of like he is the number one offensive option.
Well, he is the dude because let's put it this way: Brandon Ayuk, you're good. You ain't Deebo Samuel. You ain't Deebo Samuel good. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
He's not even Mardaz Scantlin of the team.
That's sad.
That's bad. Like, he's not Alex Lazar of the team. He's that guy. He's good. Yeah.
I think if the 49ers are willing and are really trying to keep him, cool. But I want to hear what are they doing to keep him. Because they could say, oh, yeah, well, we threw a contract at him, and he kept saying no. Okay, but what's the contract? What's the deal? Because if you're offering them cheap money, then it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to say no. And that's where I'm coming from. It's like, did the 49ers do everything they can to keep Deebo Samuel? That's where I'm at with all of this. That's where I'm at
and
with all of
technically,
this.
this is literally his last year of his contract. So, do you
Yeah.
gamble with it? Do you gamble and just say, you know what, just play out this year, and if you have the same production that you had
If
last
I'm
year,
John Lynch, you better start begging for him to reconsider. Because if he leaves, all the 49ers, there ain't going to be nobody this year.
I can easily say that. I can easily say that. Yeah.
The defense is going to be great. That offense, I'm not really too sure about that.
Depending on who their quarterback is, too. That's another thing I'm saying. Like, depending on the quarterback, I don't really know if Jimmy Garoppolo is still a guy.
I will say this. The reports that did come out that Trey Lance has already got the confirmation that he is going to be quarterback one. I think that was a little premature on his part. I think that's something that should have been kept in-house because now it kind of plays in the hand of,
Why you
well,
didn't trade him?
why is Jimmy still on the team then?
Yeah, why you didn't trade him? That was kind of stupid.
So now the teams are going to be like, oh, you're quarterback one? I'll just wait for you guys to release him.
Yeah.
Why am I going to pay you?
Oh, my God. Oh, I just thought about Baker Mayfield when you said that.
See what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit up here and say that that's a stupid move on the 49ers organization. What I am going to say is I think Trey Lance probably should have kept that to himself.
What I'm saying is, like, because I was thinking Baker Mayfield, because Jimmy Garoppolo's, he's going to get traded, if anything, right? Like, you're assuming Seattle, if anything.
Not anymore.
Seattle might wait. Now, you're not going to trade.
I could see Jimmy Garoppolo being the starter.
I don't think you're going to trade him to Seattle, but if he gets released, Baker Mayfield might as well retire. Like, he might as well go ahead and just call it.
You know what? I hear the XFL is going to be a really big thing in 2023.
Listen, he could go to the XFL. I see the USFL is back. He could go there, try to figure some things out. Listen, he got arena football is always an option.
He has options.
He has options. He go to Canada.
If he loves football, he has options.
I mean, we seen Johnny Manziel go to Canada and go all these other places. Now, is he going to probably be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Hell no, but still, you could if you love the game, go do it. I mean, that's kind of how it goes.
Now, I will say this, though. I like what the 49ers did in their last draft class. You know, getting Trey Lance at 3, I think, was a big surprise for everybody. I think that was like the biggest shocker because it was like, I think it came down to Mac Jones or Justin Fields. And it was neither one of those. It was Trey Lance at 3. And it's like, oh my God, the genuine shock on everybody's face when Trey Lance's name came out, everybody was like, what? What?
I mean,
but
you heard reports for like the last couple of months that Trey Lance, they were leaning towards Trey Lance. You kind of heard it.
I thought it was all smoke. I was thinking, you know what? No.
I didn't. I know Kyle Shanahan.
But I will give him this credit. In the little time that he did play,
decent.
653 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 168 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. I will give him the credit. He looks good. He looks okay. Let's see what happens with the full season. But for the little time he did play, there was a couple of flashes there where it's like, okay, this kid's got an arm. This kid's got legs. Let's see how it goes. Now, their second rounder, Aaron Banks, the backup or the guard from Notre Dame, he's still going to be backup, and we'll see how it goes this year, especially with how free agency went for them. Trey Sermon, the big name running back out of Ohio State, big back. He only ended up playing 9 games, and eventually he wasn't even not effective at all. 167 rushing yards with 1 touchdown, and that was in 9 games. Ambry Thomas, that was a find. Now at least that made it up. Because at least you got a starter cornerback in the 3rd round, which that made it up. Jalen Moore, the offensive tackle out of Western Michigan, he's a backup left tackle. And I get it, Mike. Trey Sermon, he was the big name. And, we all thought, hey, he's going to go to Kyle Shanahan. He's going to tear it up. No,
He lost his job to another rookie. What can I say?
What can I say? Now you got your big back, and that's okay. Dio Lenore, the cornerback out of Oregon. Yeah, one of the biggest fantasy duds last year, Trey Sermon. And this is why I do not draft rookies on my team. Never. You got to give me at least 2 good years before I even think about looking at you. 2. Not 1, 2. There's some exceptions. All right, there are some exceptions. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're there, hey, more power to me. And then, you got your 6th rounder, Elijah Mitchell. He's the one that ended up doing everything. 963 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 137 receptions, and 1 touchdown. Now, let's be real for a second. Let's be real. Because you, of all people, you're the only person I know that had the 49ers. You were banking on the Niners the whole time. Okay, and I'm going to give you all the credit in the world because I did not see that coming. I'm thinking to myself, how, in what universe will San Francisco sniff a Super Bowl? And they were 1 game away. Now, what's funny is that they could beat the Rams any other day except for an NFC Championship game.
Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. Do not start that today with me. You know how I feel about that that game, Week 18 game. That was. Move on. Let's just go to the next.
It was the Rams not being able to hold their lead. That's what it was more about. Now, here's the funny thing about the NFC Championship game. The 49ers played the Rams exactly how they were going to play. They did a red zone interception. They got to Matthew Stafford. They did everything. I'm not going to put it all on Tart because he didn't get the interception. I'm not going to put it all on him. There's a bunch of other things that could have happened. Maybe score more than 6 points in the second half. Maybe don't give up a lead. Tart was not the sole reason why they lost. Now, it was probably one of the biggest game changers. It was a game changer because, let's really face it, there were still about 5 minutes left in that game if Tart would have got that interception. That means we would have had to assume that Kyle Shanahan was going to do everything in his power to run the ball, run the clock out, try to get a field. That's saying Kyle Shanahan is actually going to make through to his promise. No. Here's the thing. I think I'm not going to sit here that the Rams got lucky, but they got a Kyle Shanahan that always shows his nervousness when it comes close to crunch time. So I think the Rams did enough. They came back. They won the game. Kudos to them. 2 weeks later, they played in the Super Bowl. They won. And now the 49ers are heading into an offseason with 1. You don't know who your quarterback is. You don't know what your situation is with Deebo Samuel. You don't know what Mike Shanahan and John Lynch are going to do. Because look at the names that left. Lincoln Tomlinson. He's now heading to the Jets. You don't think that's going to help out the Jets? By the way, the Celtics just grabbed a 2-0 lead.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it Tuesday. I've already put the Brooklyn Nets in a graveyard. That's already done. I'm not surprised.
Ouch. Just like that? Yeah, I put the Nuggets in the body bag already too, so I understand.
I mean, come on.
Hey, listen, man. It is what it is. It was fun.
It's a great year. Just not your year. That's all.
Nah, son. It's over, son.
Yeah.
They got PTSD running all over it, man. All right. It's that new crew, the PTSD crew, man. They're killing it, man. They're killing it out there. But we'll talk about it Tuesday. Kawan Williams, who was the starting corner, is now going to head to Denver. He's actually going to – that defense is actually getting better when it doesn't have to. All right. And if you want my advice, if you have a chance to grab the Denver's defense in fantasy, I want to. Just throwing it out there.
I mean, listen, the last couple of years, if you didn't grab Denver's defense, I don't know what to tell you. I don't literally know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you.
I mean, when they're always in the top 3 of sacks and turnovers, You kind of might want to say you might want to
Points allowed.
reconsider.
Like points allowed. Like
You might want to reconsider your options here at defense. So just throwing it out there. Arden Key, he's going to Jacksonville. Tom Compton, he's hunting to Denver as well. Raheem Mostert, his time is up. He's heading to Miami. So what am I saying? Yes, everything is still intact. For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Why you don't want to pay Deebo Samuel what you think he's worth or what he thinks is worth is beyond me. Why you don't want to keep improving offensively, like it. Here's the thing. I get it. Mike Shanahan's an offensive genius. He really is. I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. He knows how to run an offense. It's a great offense. But why? Like, dude, it kind of has that feeling of when they went to the Super Bowl and they lost. And it's like, dude, you have everything in your fucking power to look good. You can't even sustain that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some good players that are going to come in. You know, Tre'Davious Ward from Kansas City. So at least you got your starting corner there. Oren Burks, as we talked about yesterday, he's going to come in. The linebacker from Green Bay, Ray McLeod from Pittsburgh's coming in. You know, Marcus Johnson. You know. So it's not all lost, but I will say this.
Okay.
If you think that, you know, the 49ers don't have problems. And here's the thing, the 49er fans, they have it in their head that everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Is it? I don't think so. Not when one of your best offensive weapons is saying, done. Done. Something like I want out. Not when your general manager is at the podium going, well, you know, I mean, I just think that, you know, it's going to be okay. And I think we'll figure it out from here. No, John. Like, cool draft class last year. But where's the pizzazz? Because, see, here's the thing. Maybe this is what the 49ers wanted. You know, not a lot of eyes on them. And that's how literally they became in the NFC Championship game because nobody was watching them. But now all eyes are on you. You have a quarterback that said, I got a guarantee from my coaching staff that I'm the new QB1, and Jimmy Garoppolo's still there. You got a wide receiver who's disgruntled. Oh, and by the way, Bosa, his contract's almost up. And he's going to want to put it this way. For whatever weird reason, Nick Bosa and Max Crosby, for whatever reason, are always going to be twined to each other. I don't know why. I don't know how a first rounder and a fourth rounder are going to be twined together. I don't know why. But people are saying, well, Max got the pressures, Bosa's got the sacks. Like Max can do this, but Bosa can. And it's like, how did Max Crosby and Nick Bosa end up in the same conversation? How? How did that happen? I don't get it.
Easy. Nick Bosa been hurt, and Max Crosby's been on the field.
Okay, I granted, yeah, that is true. That is, but it's like, really?
I'm gonna just assume that. I'm gonna just assume like you're seeing Max Crosby more than you're seeing Nick Bosa.
But even with him missing time, he still has more sacks. Now, that could be also due to the fact that obviously Nick Bosa has a lot of bit more help than Max Crosby. Let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
And you know, there's legitimate people. There are experts out there that are saying, I would have rather have Max Crosby than Nick Bosa. That baffles me only because of the fact that Max Crosby, great dude, great defensive end. Like the dude can freaking play. He is relentless. He is all motor, no stoppage. Like that is great. But it's like, are we really going to discount the fact that Nick Bosa did amazing things so far in his young career?
Well, you know how this goes. What have you done lately? Nobody gives a damn what you did your rookie year. What have you done lately?
And listen, Mike, I get it. What kind of crack they smoking? I get it, Mike. But I think Brandon's got a point. What have you done for me lately? Max Crosby's been producing. Nick Bosa kind of has his up and downs with injuries, and it's like, hey, look, I get it. I freaking get it. But it's like, dude, are we gonna really just discredit the fact that Nick Bosa is like still not one of the better pass rushers in the league? One of the better pass rushers that's come out in the last 10 years? Like, seriously? We're gonna discredit that?
Yeah, when you're not playing, it's easy to discredit.
Oof. Ouch. That's gonna I would love to know who people will love to start building their defense around because I just like
You might be surprised.
I mean, I will be surprised if Max Crosby gets a high number because it's like, man,
Because it's starting to get Nick is starting to get like Joey. We haven't really seen him that much. Like when you're on the field, yeah, you're dominant. But when you're not on the field, do we really miss you?
I mean, because they're still playing great defensively. And I get it. No, I get it. I get it.
Like Max Crosby,
okay, let's put it this way.
if Max Crosby get hurt, we know he's hurt. Because like the Raiders defense would probably be like, oh shit, what are we doing?
Done. We're done, dude. We're done, bro. We're done, dude. Okay, let's put it this way. If Max Crosby and Nick Bosa were to switch teams right now, are we looking at the same results?
Yes.
And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing to think. Like, that's so scary to think that people think that, but it is what it is. But I will say this.
Because I think Max Crosby would be just as dominant, especially with the 49ers. Oh, my God. He would have Nick Bosa's early numbers and probably improved on it. People would be probably calling him like J.J. Watt right now. T.J. Watt, something like if he was in the 49ers defense.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing to think that because those two guys were drafted in the same year that it's like that's the two best pass rushers in that draft class. It's Nick Bosa and it's Max Crosby. Those
It'd be like that sometimes. I mean, all I gotta say is this: one person got paid, and the other one is still waiting for a contract.
And that could be another dispute next year.
One got paid.
Are they just trying to say, hey, look, man, I'm trying to save everything for Bosa. There's really nothing for you.
Listen, one got paid already, and the other one is going to probably get a contract. Maybe, depending on what they do with Deebo Samuel.
So it is what it is. But I think for the 49ers, I'm going to be on record saying I do not think Deebo Samuel leaves. I think they figure it out. I think they find a number that's comfortable for both of them. And then we move on.
I'm not there yet. I think where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and it's deeper than just, it's deeper than just like the money. I really do think it's deeper than money, because if they're telling you we'll pay you whatever you want, just don't take it public, kind of. What? And he's already took it public.
No, he didn't. Well, he took it public, but his brother took it to a whole nother level. Like his brother put it out. Like, okay, so just I get it, dude. Family's cool and everything, but sometimes you just gotta keep shit in house.
And that's the thing. Like he's already requested a trade. There's no walking it back, kind of.
There's no going back, but at the same time, it's kind of like other teams have to look at it and be like, well, Deebo, what do you want to get paid? Like, give me a number.
I want Christian Kirk money, but better.
I can't do Christian Kirk. I can't do $35 million, dude. I can't. I cannot.
I want Christian Kirk money, but better.
Oh, okay. I thought you said for some reason. I thought you said Kirk Cousins. Now,
he deserves. God, no. Good God, he will never get paid Kirk Cousins money. You don't do enough. Yeah, that's what you started to say. You don't do enough.
I will say this. Does he deserve Christian Kirk money? Absolutely, he deserves Christian Kirk money. That's the starting point. Let's keep going.
Starting point.
Let's keep going. Like that's the deal. That's the minimum. Let's keep going. But we'll see. So here we are, pick number 29. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs are on clock. So they're not going to pick until the second round anyway. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the second round anyway. Today it is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to talk about their season upcoming here soon. But here we go. Here goes Roger Goodell with the little card in his hand, stepping up to the podium. Brandon, what name is Roger Goodell going to call at pick number 29 for the Kansas City Chiefs?
All right, for the Kansas City Chiefs, with the 29th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs will select. I might mess up his first name, but you know what I'm talking about. Nakia Dean, linebacker.
Nakobe
Dean, linebacker, Georgia.
Yes.
Good God, how much does Kansas City need defense?
Yes.
They need defense a lot.
Yes.
Like, they need a defense. How much they need a defense? They need a defense. Like, they need a defense. Good God. I don't really know anybody on Kansas City defense. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu is gone, so they say. We shall see how that all plays out. But the only person I know is Chris Jones, and that's it. That's a damn shame. They need somebody to manage that defense. They need their defensive quarterback. They don't have it. That's where Dean comes in to the play, because he will be. You said it yesterday when you picked him for Green Bay. I think, unlike that pick, I think he fits perfectly with Green Bay, Kansas City, because right out the gate, he is the leader of that defense. He is the guy. He is the one. And I think that's what they need. Chris Jones, how much longer does he have on his in league? And you're gonna need somebody to be that leader. I think if you draft Dean right out the gate, who just managed to get the Georgia defense, that defense, to beat the almighty Alabama Crimson Tide, the way they beat the almighty Alabama Crimson Tide, it's something to it. I think he's ready. Like you said yesterday, he's a pass rusher, but he's a goddamn leader. He knows the field. He knows what he's doing. And God almighty, does Kansas City need somebody like that? My God. So I got
like it. No, I like it.
I got Dean going to Kansas City.
Listen, I had him yesterday, and for good reasons, because one, I mean, like we talked about, Devondre Campbell's back, but how long is he really going to be there for? And I think that's what they're really missing in that defense. It's just a true middle linebacker. And listen, Devin Lloyd is already gone. Nakobe Dean is probably the second best one out there.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he's going this late, it's pretty telling on the linebacker class this year. So if you need a linebacker, you might want to get one early. Just throwing it out there. But with the 29th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs will select Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Arkansas. Listen, I can't go Nakobe Dean back to back, so I'm going to make sure that they get the biggest knee taken right out of the gate. It is Treylon Burks. And listen, yes, I'm picking him because yes, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, the other guy, Mecole Hardman. Look. Yeah. Look, man. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes can make any quarterback look good. But can we get this guy a number one again? Because I think that's going to be very pivotal for him to succeed in that division, to get him a go-to guy. I think it's going to be very pivotal he gets that. And the best remaining wide receiver on my board is Treylon Burks, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. And listen, why wouldn't you want him? He's 6'3", 225 pounds. Now, here's the thing where people are coming to disagreement with. They said that he had a terrible 40 time at the combine. I agree. But you know what I think he has better? I think he's more game speed than he is testing. Because on the field, you can't catch the guy.
You can't measure that.
You can't catch the guy. I get it. He ran a 4.55 in the combine. That's slow for the combine results. But when you look at the film, he is fast. He is faster than 4.5.
Listen, I've played him for all of his years in college because of the LSU-Arkansas rivalry at the end of the year. You're not telling me anything I don't freaking know. You're not telling me anything I don't.
Immediately, he becomes Patrick Mahomes' new go-to guy, which will be unfair because he's just so freaking gifted. And listen, man, his touchdowns, his receptions, and his yardage just kept increasing every single freaking year. I mean, for goodness sakes, he made the all-freshman team in 2019. And that was only with 29 receptions and 475 yards. He's a two-time second-team All-SEC in 2019 and 2020. And then he made the first-team All-SEC in 2021. Now, he's going to forego his senior year. I think he was okay either way. Had he gone back to college and then come out next year, he probably would have been the first wide receiver taken because it would have been very interesting to see that wide receiver class for next year. And I'll be honest with you, he had a chance to be the number one wide receiver taken because, like, yeah, you're freaking talented, dude. Like, and I think he just fits with Kansas City. It's all speed, it's all go, and you know what? He can run any route. Listen, when you're 6'3", you have a catch radius like that, and your route running is already okay heading into the NFL level. I think you got to just give Patrick Mahomes his true number one because he needs one. He needs a true number one. I get it. People are out there like, laughing at Kansas City. Well, Kansas City fans have been saying that Travis Kelce is the next Rob Gronkowski, so it should be fine. Rob did it without a true number one. True. I'll give you that.
Did he?
I'll give you that. I will say this. I will give him that.
Did he?
He did.
I don't know about that.
For a bit.
I don't know about that.
I mean, for a bit. I mean, what was his
I would
best
say
receiver at that time?
I would say Julian Edelman was kind of more of a one than Rob was. Rob was maybe one, but Julian Edelman was definitely one.
But let's put it this way: if Julian Edelman left, Rob Gronkowski's still there. You think Tom Brady's stripping out that Julian Edelman left?
Yeah.
No, not really, because he'll find somebody else.
I don't know that.
Patrick Mahomes, it's like, you know what, dude? I know he can make anybody good, but let's give this dude a true number one just to be on the safe side. Just to be on the safe side for Kansas City. I say give him Treylon Burks and just, hey, I get it. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's never going to – I'm not saying that he could never be Tyreek Hill. I'm just saying, hey, it's a good start to rebuild that wide receiver room. Because remember, you only got Scantling for 1 year. You only got Juju for 1 year. You're really not sure about McCole Hardman. You're already kind of giving up on him. Josh Gordon's there until he gets suspended. And you got Byron Pringle, whatever. I don't even know he's on the team anymore. And Demarcus Robinson left. So, yeah, you need to hit your biggest need, which is that wide receiver room, because there's no guarantee that the other names I just named are going to be there next year, and you need a true number one. So give me Treylon Burks for – I get it, dude, but that's what I'm going to go with. So you guys let us know. Kobe Dean or Treylon Burks?
Josh Gordon is just that before he gets suspended.
I'm sure Josh Gordon, if he ever saw this video, he's just chilling trying to eat his like lasagna or something. He goes, "Hey, what the fuck, man? What the fuck, man?
Why you throwing that shit out there?
Like, what the hell, man?" Now,
shout out to Mike. Shout out to Mike because I just saw your quarterback and your number one receiver at the Milwaukee Bucks game. Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb.
We gotta get that guy. Well, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be Christian Watson, but whatever.
I'm trying to tell you, it's gonna be Christian Watson. Come on.
Yeah. Now let's move on to pick number 30, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, and they are gonna pick number 30. So after a 12-5 record, 4th best offense, and if I were to tell you that the Kansas City Chiefs finished with the 8th best defense, would you have believed me?
Hell no.
Why? Because the first half of the season, they looked sorry as hell. But for whatever reason, it worked out. They made some adjustments, and they ended up being the 8th best defense in the NFL. And that's a credit to Steve Spagnuolo and the leaders that were on the defense at that time.
They were the 8th best defense the second half of the season and the 32nd best defense the first half.
Let me tell you something. They were terrible. They were terrible. I will give them that. But
God.
I will say this, though. Kansas City, they actually did have a pretty much a good draft class. Better than you expected. They didn't have a first rounder because they traded to Orlando Brown, which, hey, it worked out. Worked out. It's okay. It's okay. Now, they did select Nick Bolton with pick number 58, the linebacker out of Missouri, and he cracked the starting job. That's all you can ask for. They picked a few picks later at pick 63. They got Creed Humphrey, the center from Oklahoma, who is already, in stats-wise, one of the best centers in the NFL. So Great pickup. Who would have knew that the best center in the draft would be one of the better centers in the NFL? Who freaking knew that? 62 teams, 62 choices were made. Understand this. 62 players were chosen ahead of Creed Humphrey. That, my friend,
That's just
my friend, is a true American travesty.
that is disrespectful to football teams all alike because you gave Patrick Mahomes another goddamn set of eyes on a football field that ain't even got to catch the ball. Have to catch the ball. That's embarrassing.
Now, they didn't pick again until the 4th round. I picked 144. Joshua Canado, the defensive end out of FSU. Listen, man, Frank Clark is there. A bunch of people are there. You're not going to get anything. Just take your time. Now, 162, you got Noah Gray, the tight end out of Duke. Travis Kelce's there, man. Take your time. Ain't nothing going to happen. Now, pick a 181, Cornell Powell, the wide receiver out of Clemson. Listen, dude, they were at one point they were stacked of wide receivers. Let's see how it works now. And who knows? I mean, he still has an uphill battle, but who knows? And then at pick number 226, they took Trey Smith, the guard out of Tennessee, who was actually kind of a steal when you really think about it. Like he was at one point he was projected in the early 2nd, then he dripped because of the combine numbers, making him a late 3rd, and then they got him in the 6th. And now he has a chance to compete for the starting job because, well, Kyle Long is no longer there. Austin Blythe is no longer there. So he has a chance to be another fresh, young offensive line. And I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody's talking about the AFC West of how Denver got better, how the Chargers got better, how the Raiders got better. Kansas City Chiefs only needed to fix one problem. That was the offensive line. I'm looking at the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's young. They're going to work together again. And they're going to be healthy. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in that whole division. So anybody out there that's thinking that, okay, maybe Kansas City Chiefs time is over, I still expect them to win the division. I do not care what people think. Until proven otherwise, Kansas City's still going to win this division. But anyway, yeah, it's very weird to hear that they were the eighth best defense. Because if you saw the first, 4 games, oh my God.
I wouldn't say 4, like 7.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough to watch that because, they went into Baltimore and Lamar Jackson gifted them 2 touchdowns. Not one, two touchdowns. He gifted them 2 touchdowns. And they still lost on that Sunday night classic.
On a 4th and 1. Not like just anything. Just a 4th and 1. Just a real quick sneak.
Yeah. And then, there was just these moments early in the year of Kansas City, and you're thinking to yourself, what's going on? What's happening? Why are they playing like this? Why are they not? What's going on? Was that $50 million deal too much? Too early? Are they starting to show their flaws a little bit? But like in Andy Reid fashion, figures it out. He figures it out. And then they went on this incredible streak where they can never lose again. And that's exactly what happened. They never lost again. After that 5th loss, they said, no more.
We won't lose. We would not lose into the AFC Championship game because they got their ass whooped in that second half.
I'm not okay. Second half. I thought you was going to say the whole game. I'm like, they only got their asses whooped in the second half.
Now, in overtime.
Okay, now look, this is my thing. They had that. I think what happened literally was this: they had that classic matchup against the Buffalo Bills, which we all know what happened. They tied it up in 13 seconds, and then they got the ball back, and the game was over. They scored. Travis Kelce. And look, there's a couple games that they could have lost in that road, like the Chargers, had they maybe just gone for the extra points instead. But I understand the mindset. You want to keep the points on. You want to keep it going. But it did cost you about 4 points. And those 4 points were enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on that Thursday night matchup.
Boy, they
All in
coach
all,
stupid. Boy, they
all
coach.
in all, I think the Kansas City Chiefs had an amazing year. Okay. Now, I think what happened, they just hit that roadblock that was the Cincinnati Bengals. Nobody was going to stop the Bengals. Nobody. Now, the first half, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. And then for the second half, the Cincinnati Bengals defense woke up and it's like, who are you guys? Yeah. And, Patrick Mahomes started throwing interceptions. And let's be real, Patrick Mahomes wasn't really himself this year. It was almost getting to a point where it's like you're kind of guaranteed a turnover.
Just wait. Yeah.
You're kind of guaranteed. I mean, first snap, first offensive drive against the Steelers in that wild card game,
Pick.
he turned the ball over.
Went for a touchdown.
And it's like, this isn't the Patrick Mahomes I'm used to watching because I'm used to him slinging it, scoring touchdowns, scoring and scoring and scoring. I mean, and we got that, but it kind of felt like,
yeah,
okay, we're guaranteed an interception. We're guaranteed a turnover any minute. And right when you say that, it happens. I don't know what it was about Kansas City. Now, kudos to them for going back to 4 straight AFC championship games. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know if maybe Cincinnati just figured out a flaw that they couldn't fix. Or maybe that Justin Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes are just bad luck and just stop going to games, man, because it's like you're putting too much pressure on the man. Please stop putting pressure on the man. All right? The man is enough. The man has enough problems. He already has to deal with 80,000 Chiefs fans at Kansas City. He doesn't need to add 2 more distractions. All right? He doesn't need that. But I will say this. I think Kansas City is still the best team to beat in the AFC West. And I still think they're one of the better teams to get back to the Super Bowl heading into next year. It all depends on how this draft class goes. And it's going to be an adjustment. I get it. It's hard. Listen, you can say what you want. I know we lost Tyreek Hill, but we're going to make it work here. That's good because you have to make it work or else you're going to have a very long year. And listen, they actually lost some pretty good names. One, we just talked about him earlier. Charvarius Ward, he's now heading to San Francisco. Mike Hughes is now going to head to Detroit. Austin Blythe is heading to Seattle. Monty Watts is heading to Indy. Demarcus Robinson's going to Las Vegas now. Pringle's heading to Chicago. Daniel Sorensen's heading to New Orleans. But I will say this. They did bring in some pretty good names. Justin Reed got him away from Houston, which means Tyrann Mathieu's time in Kansas City is over, and he's just going to have to wait. Here's the thing about Tyrann Mathieu that he has to probably understand. You're probably just going to get vet minimum, bro. So whatever team offers you a 1-year contract, just take that shit, prove your worth, and then get your contract next year because it ain't going to be this year. I'll tell you that right now. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is heading to Green Bay. Juju Smith-Schuster, Scantling is coming from Green Bay to go to Kansas City. Juju is heading from Pittsburgh to Kansas City. Jermaine Carter is still, he's actually a pretty good middle linebacker. Now, if Nakobe Dean is there,
take him.
Take your shot. Take a shot. Ronald Jones, which I called the most underrated move the Chiefs did this offseason. He's coming from Tampa Bay. And I think he fits better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Derek Nundy's coming back, Andrew Wiley's coming back, and Blake Bell's coming back. So it's not like Kansas City lost everything. They just lost the most important piece to their offense. They just traded him away. That's okay. You can always replace. Well, you can't replace Tyreek.
I'm about to say, I don't think you can replace that.
You can't replace that, but you could try to get a player of that type of caliber and then make it work out. which it will with Treylon Burks. But I think you're right. I think the defense still needs a lot of help. Listen, Chris Jones is there, Frank Clark is there, and Justin Reed's coming in, and that's great. But they've already had those three, like they've already had that three trio for long already. And it's only gone. Chiefs fans have to understand this. You're more closer to the Seattle Seahawks than you are to the New England Patriots dynasty. Like, you guys are the Buffalo Bills of the AFC Championship games, but at least you guys win one. Or you guys win two. So that's great. Now, in order to get to the Super Bowl, we got to improve that defense as well. So you can already imagine where I'm going to go. But where am I going to go? What position and what skill set am I going to go? Might surprise you. So here we go. So, Brendan, here comes the commissioner again, holding the second card to Kansas City, pick number 30. Who is Kansas City going to take at pick number 30?
All right. For the 30th overall pick in the 2022 draft, the Kansas City Chiefs will select Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback, Clemson. God almighty, do you need secondary help? Oh, my God. Just like you need linebacker help, you need secondary help. Tyrann Mathieu is not coming back. We clearly know that. Justin Reed, yeah, he's coming, but how much is left in his tank? Who knows? And I don't know if you got a reliable number one corner. I don't think that you have a reliable number one corner.
But Jarius Sneed is pretty good.
I don't think you have a reliable number one corner. I don't think you guys have a reliable number one corner. I think you guys need a number one corner. Dabo Swinney has taught this kid something. If he got pretty much picked up by Dabo Swinney when he was coming out of high school, he clearly knew something. Dabo Swinney's a defensive-minded head coach more than anything. So he knew something. And I think that as long as you have that defense that you have, you're going to need a number one cornerback to go up against Davante Adams, Cortland Sutton, Keenan Allen. I'm just assuming you might need somebody. I don't know who, but Andrew Booth would probably fit that mode. Just my opinion. He might fit that mode. I don't know. I'm just saying.
And it's not even that. It's also the fact that the number 2 wide receivers in that division is actually pretty good too.
Oh my God. In the slot.
It's not just Cortland Sutton.
Like, good God. How do you not?
It's not just Cortland Sutton and Keenan Allen and Davante Adams. It's also
Hunter
Mike Williams, Tim Patrick, Hunter Renfrow. That
Jerry Judy's still there. He can catch.
It's like that division is how can I put it? It's really fucking good. All right, like it's really good on name, on talent. Okay,
it's just wow. And my thing is this: if you get two guys like an Andrew Booth and Nakia Dean, clearly they're moving towards defense. And listen, I know people are gonna be like, why not get a number one receiver? I don't say I'm a believer in Juju Smith or my dad's Van Lance Scanlon. I don't believe in neither one of those receivers. But McCole Hardman has got to step up. You didn't draft his ass for nothing. He's got to step up.
Lord, they drafted him ahead of DK Metcalf. I want people to understand this. All right?
You thought of him that way. They thought of him that much because he came from Georgia. So clearly you thought he could be the next Tyreek Hill. Well, guess what? You're about to see, because his ass has got to be your number one receiver. I don't care. He's got to be the number one.
Yeah, after 4 years, I'm pretty much done. I'm pretty much okay. Like, I've seen enough. Okay, so with my pick, I pick number 30. I do have the Kansas City Chiefs taking a corner as well. However, it can't be Andrew Booth because in my world, he's already gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. So here is my next corner I've taken a lot of cornerbacks in this draft.
I've seen. Yes, I've seen. Yeah.
You're like, holy crap, that is a lot of corners I have.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
How many quarterbacks? Detroit's on the clock. Give me a break. I'll give you a break. Anyway, with the 30th pick in this year's 2022 NFL draft, the Kansas City Chiefs will select Roger McCreary, cornerback, Auburn. Look, listen, listen. There's not a lot of corners left on the board. And I agree with Brandon. They need cornerback help. There's just something about it that just screams, help me. I looked at the depth chart this morning and it looked at me and it said, help me. Help me. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'll help you. I'll help you. So I'm going to get you a corner from Auburn. Listen, he's 5'11, 190 pounds. That's not the ideal size of today's NFL cornerback, but does he know how to play corner? Absolutely, he knows how to play corner. Of course he does. Why? Because he's a first-team All-American on ESPN and the Associated Press. And he's a first-team All-SEC in 2021. And listen, this year, if anything, it showed why he's one of the better corners in this draft class. 49 tackles, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions. One of them, which was a pick 6, 14 pass deflections. You don't get that many high pass deflections if you're not next to your wide receiver. Because the next best thing next to an interception is a pass deflection. That's the next best thing. And he was one of the best ones to do it. Now, people say he's too small.
He made me turn off the game. LSU and Auburn played. He was on every damn receiver. I was pissed.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this. Listen, if Kansas City feels that he's a little too small to play outside right now, put him in a slot. I guarantee you. Because I guarantee you this much, you're going to need him. You're going to need him in the slot. Because what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Because, that division has pretty good weapons of receivers everywhere. So you might want to think about putting him in the slot. And if he works out great, you put him on the outside, he could easily be your number 1 corner by the end of his rookie year. So for me, I can't go Andrew Booth because he's already gone. But I'm going to give you the guys the next best thing. Roger McCreary. He's not bad. Okay, he's not even bad at all. He's really good. I just think he has that stigma of, because he's short and it's not today's NFL. It's sort of like but at pick 30, you got to swing for the fences because you need cornerback help. And so does everybody in the NFL world. They are all saying you need cornerback help. And I agree. So that's why Roger McCreary, to me, would be a perfect fit for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have no problems with the pick. Like I said, I had to turn off the goddamn TV after he was on damn near every receiver on LSU. I was not happy. And then I was more happy when he played Alabama than I was against LSU because he was on Alabama's ass. Like, Jameson Williams didn't do shit that game. Go watch it. He didn't do shit that game. Like,
no. John Mechie?
He didn't do
when Roger McCreary, whatever receiver Roger McCreary's on, he in college, he was not going to do shit. So put it that way. He was not going to do anything, guys. There was no hope for that receiver.
Matter of fact, James Williams got ejected in that game because he was so frustrated.
I think he punched him, right?
He punched him.
They're like, dude.
He got so frustrated.
Like, so again, am I worried about his height? Hell no. When you play like that, I'm going to trust my instinct and say, I think you can play cornerback in the NFL. I think you're going to be okay.
At least you're going to be a pest. You're going to be a pest on somebody.
And listen, and I have the perfect way for him because the thing about him too, he does kind of have a little bit of a big mouth. He kind of reminds me of Cortland Finnegan.
Oh my God.
I think that's kind of like my comparison where he has the attitude. It's like, I know I can.
Only he don't fight like him.
I hope he's a better fighter than Cortland Finnegan. I will say this. I hope he's got better hands. I'm not talking about hands as far as like interceptions or anything. I'm talking about hands of fighting because Andre Johnson just, dude, after that happened, Cortland Finnegan was a non-factor ever again.
He didn't do shit the rest of his career. It was just
like it was a non-factor. It was over. Now, I will say this. I mean, he's feisty. listen, he's feisty. He knows he's very good at keeping up with speedy wide receivers. He knows how to handle the big time, the big receivers. He just knows how to play it. He's a perfect zone coverage corner who also knows how to play press as well. So it's, there's nothing bad about his game other than, yes, is height an issue? Maybe. But at that point, I'm not really caring about height. I just want to see Kenny. If he could play, we're all good. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I'm surprised you went defense for Kansas City.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I've said.
Are we just going to assume the fact that Juju and Marquez Valdez?
Oh, hell no. I got a receiver going to Kansas City in the second round. I just don't think they're going to draft one in the first.
Oh, God. And who's that going to be? Who's that? Jalen Tolbert? Justin Ross?
Listen, we act like just because he's from South Alabama, Tolbert can't do something.
No, I'm not saying that. No, Jalen
his
Tolbert
speed, I literally was watching him. His speed is unreal. Like,
no, Jalen Tolbert, like, would it surprise me if Jalen Tolbert snuck in the first round? No.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, no, because he's that good. He's that good. And do I expect him to last to the third round?
Nope.
If he lasts until the third round, that is going to be the biggest mistake on everybody. That is such. Now, if he lasts in the third round, but he's picked before our pick, then hey, we're all good. At least I can say, well, we didn't have a chance to even draft him, so it's all good. But everybody else, hey, man, don't fuck this up. He will screw your team up. I'm going to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes. But other than that, that is going to do it for today's episode. As always, Brendan, I am so happy that you can always join us and everything. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the AFC champions, those Cincinnati Bengals, on how they went from the worst team a year ago to one more drive, winning a Super Bowl this year.
Just an offensive line. Just an offensive line. Ja'Marr Chase burned Jalen Ramsey on that last play, by the way.
Okay, but that's not really like a badge of honor anymore. So did Mike Evans. It's not really like a badge of honor. Like, oh, you burned Jalen Ramsey. Everybody burned Jalen Ramsey in the playoffs. It's really not a badge of honor. It is what it is, man. It's just Jalen Ramsey should get his Super Bowl check to Aaron Donald, because if Aaron Donald didn't make that play, it's a different game.
It not only did Tom Brady throw a game, almost a game-winning touchdown on you, Joe Cool did it. It's just in the Super Bowl where everybody could see it.
No, and not only that, he did it to him twice. Now we can grant it. T. Higgins, that was a total face mask. But
I mean, even I think the touchdown that they got, the first touchdown, Ja'Marr Chase burned them on that.
Yeah. So listen, I think Jalen Ramsey is still one of the better corners in this league, but let's calm down and act like he's lights out in the playoffs.
He's in the top 5.
Let's hold on.
Jalen's in the top 5. He's not number 1, but he's in the top 5.
Hey, we're not gonna sit here and say that Jalen Ramsey, like, listen, you're a great corner, but let's not act like you had a terror. This was supposed to be like, this is why I'm the best corner in the league. And every week it's like, you got burned by this team, and this. You got burned by this receiver, and this receiver.
Let's not act like Deebo Samuel also did burn him in the NFC Championship game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay, look.
I'm just saying.
Look.
I'm just saying.
So, listen, Jalen, I love you, baby. You the man, dog. Number 1, I'll give that title to Mr. Xavier Howard from Miami. That guy's pretty good. That guy's good.
I get that title to J.C. Jackson. That's just my opinion. I think J.C.
Jackson. That's another good dude.
That dude.
Yeah, that's another good dude too. Jalen, you might be number 3, but J.C. Jackson, Xavier Howard. Well, pretty good too, man. Pretty good too, and they don't have a defense like you do. But anyway, we'll talk about the Bengals tomorrow, and we'll talk about how impressed we were with their Super Bowl run. Good. And do we think that they did enough to remember the AFC North is still competitive, but we'll talk about are they the new rulers? Are they the new rulers of the AFC North? We'll see. We'll see. But until then, as always, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and that is going to watch this episode later. Brandon, thank you again. Everybody, see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. The rulers of the jungle are on the clock. Let's see what offensive line. I mean, let's see what player that let's see what offensive line we make them draft tomorrow. But yeah, let's just call it what it is. I don't care. Let's call it what it is. They're gonna go offensive line. Let's just see which one we can get them. Until then, I'm your good old boy JR. That's Brandon. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.